Hi guys, it's me, myself. So, what I'm going to be doing today is just going over Hexware. It's a cheat line, or I guess brand, and they sell a variety of different products, mostly VRCHAT or Unity related. Now, it's not just a VRCHAT cheat brand. VRCHAT just happens to make the most money. Don't ask me why. But we also offer cheats for Dead by Daylight. We used to offer cheats for Marvel Rivals, Rec Room, which we're never going to do again. Yeah, the main focus here is the VRCHAT internal. For starters, basically what you do to grab this product is first you go to hexed.cc, and I will include the link in the description, and put a little link up on the screen as well. Then you go down here to the store, then to the VRCHAT internal, and then you add to cart, or you buy now, depending on whatever you want to do. Completely up to you. If you want more products, more money for us, I don't really care. And you go to checkout, you choose your payment method, etc., etc. You proceed with the payment. Once you have paid and once you have access and everything, you go over to the Hexware server, and you can then do /download. That'll let you download the loader. You should take note that right here, it says very clearly that there's a couple of requirements that are needed for Hexware. We beg you, if you're going to use our products, at the very least, know how to read. Thank you. Anyway, so you do the download thing. Once you've downloaded your dependencies and restarted your machine, then you download the actual panel. You open it, you're going to get a funny little warning. Don't worry about this. This happens with any software that has an unknown publisher. Windows does this for everything, so don't worry about that. We are not ratting you. Then you should see the product that you bought here. I have two. You're not going to see two, most likely, at least for the large majority of people. But yeah, assuming that you bought the VRCHAT internal, you're going to see it right here in your Hex panel. You'll see the amount of days that you have left. You'll see your Discord username. This will take you to the app data folder for Hexware. So you press the funny little load button. Make sure that there's no other anti-cheats running, such as Vanguard. Hexware will let you know if there's any conflicting software or anti-cheats that are currently running. Then once it says it's ready, this is very important, by the way, you have to launch through Steam. It's going to take a little bit to inject, and once it's injected, it should be rather fast. Now, this shows up like this because Hexware actually gets rid of the VRCHAT loading screen. So you get to see the world as you load in, rather than having your view completely obscured. So this is Hexware. It has a fun little custom UI. And if you go over here at the top left, there's a little button which allows you to open the cheat. Alongside that, there's a player list on the side here. This just tells you what players are in the room, information about them, like if they're the lobby master. Their name color is in accordance with their rank. So for example, my name is purple because I'm trusted rank. And this tells you the platform that said player is on. It also tells you the max amount of players that can be inside the lobby. Additionally, it also tells you over here at the left how many players are nearby you. Yeah. Alright, so you open the cheat with this funny little button up here, and then there's a large variety of features. So we're going to start with protection. So there's no chat spam. It just prevents you from, getting spammed by chats from the VRCHAT chat box, the one that you open with, I believe it's Y. Yeah. Then there's also anti-block. So if people block you, you're still going to be able to see them. And yeah, I don't think they'll be able to. Yeah, they're not able to hear you regardless. But at the very least, you'll be able to see players that have you blocked. Alongside that, there's also the no pickup steal. This is also known as anti-theft and other mods. So it just prevents other players from stealing your pickups or whatever items that you might be holding. There's a visible camera, so it just hides the camera, the regular VRCHAT camera, the one that you get here. There's also silent portal enter, so you can enter portals and it's not going to notify anybody. There's no Udon call, so it blocks Udon network calls on different levels, right? So there's it can block the ones for all, it can block the ones for incoming, the ones for outgoing, and you can just block none if you really, really want that. And it's the same exact thing with all these other features. There's no Udon sync, there's also no object sync, which they all contain the same stuff. Now outside of the protection thing, we're moving on to utility. So there's rapid serialization. This just makes your movements a lot faster because it sends a lot more movement packets to the VRCHAT servers. Yeah. There's also pickup theft, so you can steal items from other players. There is pickupable. This is forcing pickups to be pickupable. I don't even know if that's a word. There's fake freeze, so it's kind of like, well, yeah, you freeze your movement for other players, but you can still walk around. And if you enable this, there's also a backport button, which what that backport button does is that it allows you to teleport to your original position. In fact, I can show that right now if I just stay here in the corner and I go back to utility and I do backport and I get rid of this. You can see that I will teleport back to my original position at my original rotation, etc., so on and so forth. Continuing on with utility, there's also real height, so it adjusts your avatar's collider with the actual avatar height. There's raw cache, so this just gets rid of all the encryption that VRCHAT does on VRCA files, and I believe VRCW files, but I'm not too sure. There's a player lifter, which I could not even begin to tell you what the fuck it does. There's copying the world ID, joining whatever world ID is in your clipboard, copying the server IP, bringing all pickups to yourself, as you can see here. There's not very money in this world, but, you know, it works. And lastly, there is changing your avatar to whatever avatar ID that you have in your clipboard. Now moving on to the malicious features, there is uSpeak crash, just crashes I think all quest users if I'm not wrong. There's the serialization crash, which I believe also crashes all quest users. There's void position, so it just spoofs your position into the void for other players, the void being fuck all. There's invisible join, so people just won't see when you join, they won't be notified. There's loud mic, which is like the Xbox funny mic, but you don't need a funny mic. There's rescale props, so it just changes the scale of all props to whatever the fuck you want it to be. There's void props, which sends props to, you guessed it, fuck all. There's drone crash, which crashes all users with drones. There's also chat box lag, so you can lag other players with your chat box. And there's fake lag, so it's making players believe that you're lagging when you're actually not. Because it just delays like all your movement packets. There's also void pickups, which same thing, kind of. It just sends all pickups to fuck all. There's vote kick room, so you can vote kick the entire fucking room. And there's Udon nuke, so whatever Udon events that the room might have, you can send every single one at once, and that tends to break most worlds. Yeah. Moving on from malicious, now there's movement. So there's flight, classic among mods. It's pretty basic, but it's pretty cool. Pretty sick. You can also go up and down with Q and E, though it is based on your camera rotation, just something to keep in mind. There's also jump boost. This is basically just force jump. That's how it's known in other mods. So you can override the jump strength that worlds assign to you. So you could make it really fucking high, like 21, if you really, really wanted to. Or you could set it to the default, which is 3, so that you can just jump normally in worlds that normally wouldn't allow it, such as Murder 4 and such. There's also infinite jump, so you can jump without falling. It's also commonly known as jetpack and other mods. There's also bunny hop. Quite frankly, I'm not really sure what it's for. The air jump, which just allows you to jump in mid-air. There is speed hack, so you can just go super fucking fast. There is spin bot, which, although you can't really see it through my perspective, which is great actually, because most mods don't do anything about that. It just makes your avatar spin, and yes, everyone else can see this. And then there's desktop rotate, so it allows you to rotate yourself with your arrow keys on your keyboard. Very cool. Moving on from movement, I'm actually going to leave visual for a public world. So I'll be moving on from that and then coming back to it later on. So there's a world. So there's no teleport, just prevents the world from teleporting you. There's no respawn, so it prevents the world from respawning you. There's no scaling, so it prevents the world from scaling your avatar. Some worlds, such as, say, Prison Escape, have a specific scaling limit. So you can bypass that with this, and there's no immobilize, meaning that you can prevent worlds from forcing you to not be able to move. There's also name spoof, and there's a couple of different options that you can have with this actually. There's custom, there's owner, and there's also author. It just takes the name that the world recognizes you as, and it changes it to whatever it is that you want it to be. And there's custom, as said before, or you can spoof your name to the owner of the world, or you can spoof your name to the author of the world. Owner would be the owner of the instance itself. Then there's VR spoof, so you can either spoof yourself as being on desktop, or you can spoof yourself as being in VR. And there's also ground spoof, which I also don't know what the fuck this is. Moving on from world, there's then avatar. So this is kind of like an anti-crash, I guess you could say. Not really. You can limit the amount of animators that an avatar has. You can limit the amount of audio sources, lights, chairs, particle systems, cloths, and so on and so forth. And alongside that, you can enable destroy avatars. So if any avatars exceed one of these limits, it destroys the avatar as a whole. Moving on, there's Udon, which it's basically just an Udon index. It shows you every single object in the world that has some type of Udon component. And then when you click on it, well, it gives you all the Udon events that you can send to said object. That pretty much concludes everything that's inside the base menu. There's also a couple of logs as well. So like for example, it tells you when your friends get on, when they get off. It tells you what lobbies your friends go into, whether it be a private instance or a public world or whatever. Alongside that, Hexware also customizes text throughout basically all of VRCHAT's menus. So in this case, Hexware changes the text that is under the avatar based on its availability. So like for public avatars, it's going to show up as green, and for private avatars or avatars that you have to buy, they would show up as red. The same thing applies as well for the location menu. Though rather than green and red text, what it does is that for each user, it just changes the color of their name to whatever their rank is. One last thing that I kind of forgot to mention was that alongside that, Hexware also provides free VRChat Plus features. So like you can have themes, and you can have all these backgrounds and whatever the fuck. Pretty cool. And yeah. Anyway, now I'd like to move on to the stuff that you see in online lobbies. So I'll be showing the visuals menu there as well. Alright, so I'm here at a public lobby. The first thing to note is that the visuals menu is actually in action. I turned stuff on beforehand. So what you're seeing here is the nameplate ESP and the capsule ESP. So if I go over here, there's player glow ESP, which that would just be these capsules that you see around each player, and the player plate ESP. So you see the nameplates of each player, it just makes them show up through walls. Additionally, returning again to the recoloring stuff, well, Hexware recolors the nameplates and the capsules of each player according to their ranks. So for example, if it's orange, the player's known. If it's gray, the player's a visitor. If it's purple, then the player's trusted, and so on and so forth. Plates also show who's the lobby master, so if they have that little crown next to their head, then that means that they're the lobby master. And it shows what platform they're on. So for example, this would be VR, obviously, and the P on the side means that they are on PC. And same thing here, right? They're on VR, obviously, but since there's a Q on the side, it means that they're on Quest. Moving on, so there's also chat logs, so you render the last chat messages on screen, which, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Whatever chat logs that are given inside the world by other players, it'll be rendered on screen. One thing to note is that the chat logs are actually stored down here in this bottom left corner. The thing is, I would assume that they're really small for me, probably because I'm on a 4K monitor. Not to flex, actually it's kind of a curse, because nearly everything is just far too small for me. But yeah, that's just something to note. And then lastly, for the visual menu, there's also the radar. So I don't know if you noticed up here, but this shows you the players that are nearby you, and they're all color-coded by their rank. The white dot would be yourself, and every other player, or well, every other dot would be every other player. Moving on to the selection-specific stuff. So if you select players and you scroll down, you're going to notice that there's another menu down here, or well, an additional button that normally isn't there. That would be the Hex target menu. So there's a variety of different things, starting with utility. So utility would be you can teleport to the user, you can force clone their avatar, you can copy their avatar ID, you can copy their display name, and you can copy their user ID. If you copy their avatar ID, that'll be copied to your clipboard, and you can pair that over with the utility stuff. You can pair that with the change avatar button, which will allow you to change to their avatar forcefully. Alongside that, there's an attachment menu, so you can attach yourself to different parts of players. So I'm going to test on this guy since he's AFK. So, as you can see, I'm very much attached to his head right now. And if you want to disable it, what you would do, you actually wouldn't click again on the thing. Instead, what you would do is you would just jump, which personally I really like. Moving on, there's also the malicious menu, so you can voice mimic people, so you can, mimic people's voices, and they're gonna hear their voice played back through your microphone. There's chat mimic, so you can mimic players' chat events. So if they type in the chat inside of VRCHAT, if they type this shit, then you'll mimic that, and then you'll type it as well. And finishing with the toggles, there's also portal spam, so it just spawns portals on top of the player. On top being more inside, if anything, but whatever, details. There's also Udon nuke, so you can Udon nuke specific players, which essentially breaks the world for them until they rejoin. And there's teleport pickups, so you can teleport all pickups to the player. Now, it shows up as teleporting there because Murder 4 automatically just brings all the pickups here for whatever reason. But normally, they would teleport under the person here. And lastly, there is Udon. Now, the Udon button is really just another Udon index. But yeah, you can send a bunch of events. It's pretty nifty. In fact, here, I'm gonna go to player node right here, so you can see that it actually does work. Udon, and then, Udon, then player node 14, then we assign them murderer. And as you can see, someone was just assigned murderer. That means that they are under the player node 14. Pretty fun. Yeah, that pretty much concludes Hex Client. That is essentially it. I can't think of any other features that I might have missed. So yeah, if you're looking for something reliable that you know damn well it's not going to get you banned, definitely go for this. Hexed.cc, discord.gg/voidclub.